Yeah, 30 years, that's a long time.
Yes, it is.
Investigators suspected 12-year-old Elmer Nash Jr. at the time, but they didn't have enough evidence for an arrest.
The truth has to get out, man. It has to.
This is 42-year-old Elmer Nash. Exactly 30 years ago, at just 12 years old, Elmer was responsible for a terrifying arson, murdering an innocent man. For all that time, Elmer thought he could get away with what he had done.
What, are you worried?
I don't remember. I'm trying to
Oh.
But after 3 decades of hunting down every lead, every witness, and every clue, Elmer will realize that there is nowhere left to run.
I don't want to be doing no prison time for the rest of my time and be locked up forever.
Is that what you think is that what happened?
In Everett, Washington, on February 16, 1987, a crisis had occurred. At 3 a.m., the Everett Community College's library and student union had burst into flames. Though firefighters bravely fought the raging fire, one of them lost his life. The victim was 48-year-old Gary Parks, an 18-year veteran of the fire department, Air Force veteran, a loving husband and father. Though no arrests were made and those involved in starting the fire were never caught, multiple witnesses pointed the blame to a rebellious, troublemaking 12-year-old by the name of Elmer Nash. Elmer was reportedly caught at numerous locations bragging that he started the fire shortly after the incident. Reports say he even spray painted "Elmer Nash started the fire" on 2 of the doors at the college. It was a tragedy of unimaginable levels, and yet it was strongly believed that this young man bragged about it like it was a badge of honor. Thousands of students attended the college, but were not inside the buildings when they caught fire. When the fire was started, it caused between $8 and $10 million in damages, with tens of thousands of books destroyed. To make matters worse, they had no further leads, nor any concrete evidence to say if Elmer was indeed the culprit or not. Though additional culprits were identified over the course of 3 decades, no substantial progress was ever made. Fast forward to 2017, when the now 43-year-old Nash was in jail for drug charges. At this point in his life, he has received 11 felony convictions alongside 58 misdemeanors. Law enforcement spent days building up a rapport with him, all with a single set goal: to find out if he really did start the fire that claimed an innocent man's life.
Like I said, man, my whole goal in this is closure for people. And I don't know if you remember us talking about that or not, but I want closure for you. I want closure for the people that were involved, so they don't have to have this weighing on their soul forever. I want closure for the firefighters. And there's a lot of them, man. They still talk about it.
You think you just not admissible in court? Is that?
I think that's correct. Yeah.
I think I'm worried, but I just want to.
I think that's,
help.
I think that's correct.
I'm willing to help. How does this get closer? I mean, for me doing a lie detector test, what does that do?
It just gives more credibility to my report at the conclusion. My goal is one of my goals. Yeah, I got a lot of goals, but one of my goals at the end of this is to close this case and have it put to rest with everything else.
Because I don't want you to look at me any different than after.
Never would. Dude.
I know. I'm just.
Dude,
I'm not trying to lie about nothing or anything.
No, I get it.
I'm trying to be self-aware.
Yeah, I know that. And I wouldn't look at you differently.
Yeah, 30 years, that's a long time.
Yes, it is. So, for something that I feel was probably an accident. It was a long time. So,
I don't want to be doing no prison time for the rest of my life. And be locked up forever.
Detective Mike Atwood here has known Nash since the late 90s for a string of street gang-related crimes, so he is the perfect pick for the interrogation. Still, he has taken a big gamble here. Elmer was supposed to be booked into jail, but Detective Atwood asked to delay it so he could interview him. Surprisingly, Elmer knew exactly what he wanted to talk about. The first attempt at trying to speak to Nash did not go so well. Though he was willing to talk so long as he was offered a cheeseburger, he was under the influence of drugs and fell asleep in the interrogation room. So he was taken back to his jail cell. The next day, after eating a burger and smoking a cigarette, a second attempt is made to interview him. Detective Atwood is doing whatever he can here to make himself seem more approachable, even if it means swearing freely in conversation. The conversation then turns towards an interesting question that Elmer allegedly asked the detective recently.
So why would you talk about statute of limitations and all that shit?
I just want to know. Because I know that, there's somebody that was killed in the fire and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And that's, there's no statute of limitations on there. So.
You were also 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
It was also an accident.
So I mean, I don't remember me having.
I'm just saying, do you think there was an intent behind that?
No.
You think somebody tried to set down a fire to kill a firefighter?
No.
Probably not, right?
I don't know why they started firing anyway.
Why would somebody start a fire in February?
I'm not sure. Should be warm, I guess. I don't know.
To be warm, right? Yep. You know how many people have told me that? That somehow people got access into that school and they started a fire to be warm. Okay, understandable. Totally. When you ain't got nowhere to go, dude, you were just there the other day. Not there, but you were there. You had nowhere to go the other day. You know, cold out, right?
Yeah.
What month is it? April?
Yeah.
It's fucking cold outside right now.
Yeah.
This is February, where it's typically a lot colder. And you got nowhere to go. 12, 13 years old, gonna make it probably a stupid decision and start a fire to be warm. I get it. There's no intent behind that to hurt anybody, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Both arson and manslaughter have no statute of limitations in Washington state, meaning it's only a matter of time until whoever the perpetrators are will be caught and severely punished. But if he was innocent, why would he bother even bringing that up? The answer is simple. Elmer is a career criminal. He has 11 felony convictions, along 58 misdemeanors in his name. It's no wonder why he knew exactly when the statute of limitations would be up, or at least that's what he thought. Following this, the detectives tries to tug on his heartstrings by talking about the victim in all of this, the firefighter, Gary Parks. Subscribe if you like watching detectives destroy killers who think they're the smartest person in the room.
But, and everything I've read, and everything I've been told, and everything that I've seen, I honestly, truly feel that you were there. I'm not saying, like I said the other day, I don't think you were the guy that went, right? Maybe you were. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, bro. I don't give a shit about this. I give a shit about what happened. I'm really, honestly convinced that you were there.
Gary Parks was one of the few firemen who went against protocol and stayed inside while his oxygen tank was ready to deplete, in hopes of pulling whoever was left inside the smoke-filled building to safety. What none of them realized was that no one else was there to rescue. Elmer shows some hesitancy. There are a lot of emotional barriers that he has put around himself, but the detective isn't going to try and force it out. Right now, he's still sticking with the good cop role. Still, something was needed to help jog Elmer's memory here. Perhaps some incriminating evidence and statements made against him might help.
I can remember, you know. Being honest.
The truth is in there, Elmer. I swear to God, it's in there, dude.
I don't remember doing it. I'm just telling you, no.
So tell me about it then. What do you remember?
I just remember there was a fire that started at the college, and then I was the one that had been pointed out. They were accused of doing it.
By a lot of people.
Yeah.
You even told that to people.
No, I don't remember that.
I'm just,
Yeah. I don't remember.
your name was written on 2 doors at the college. Elmer Nash started the fire with paint.
See, I don't remember that.
You probably were never told that.
Yeah, I wasn't. It's the first time I ever heard it.
I'm not bullshitting you.
That'd be kind of stupid of me.
I just read it. Well, you probably didn't write it,
Yeah.
but somebody did.
Yeah.
You told the person in the hospital. You told people at the arcade. You told people that you were going to get in a fight with. You told numerous people, man. Dude, I ain't trying to put evil on you, brother. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to heal, to get it out.
I would tell you. I wouldn't have passed a lie detector test about, when I had taken it.
Again, I don't have record of that. We'll figure that out.
That's fun.
In a few moments, Elmer is about to take part in a polygraph test to detect signs of deception. However, he is not too thrilled about it. Was it because he has recently been struggling with drug withdrawal, which has negatively and significantly affected his mood? Or is he worried of being caught? Either way, Detective Atwood decides to pull out a perfect explanation to reassure him.
So, how are you feeling now?
Nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Well, because it's been 30 years, and the first time I passed it, I'm doing another one, and I don't know what these questions are going to be. How, then I don't know if if I'm, I just am afraid that,
Well, again, it'd be just like the other day. I'd be right outside the door. She's low key. Nobody's trying to trick you in any of this, man. So
I don't want to go serve, life on a, because that's what would happen. I would go to prison for life because I got so many points.
I honestly don't think that's the case.
I don't want to go to prison for the rest of my life for something I didn't mean to do if I did it.
My goal is to get you back to your daughter.
Yeah.
I got a lot of goals. I'd love to see you get back with your daughter, dude. Before she becomes a full-fledged adult. You probably wouldn't even recognize her at this point.
I know.
That would be cool. Like the people I showed you downstairs in the parking lot that might be able to help you with housing if DOC doesn't. I think it was their group. It was either their group or the sheriff's office group that actually got a person a bus ticket out of town for a good reason. It can happen. So that would be a cool thing. Get you down, reunited with your daughter.
You'd be able, after we're done, I'll be able to talk to my CCO and all that too, and see if we can't get something worked out or whatever.
For housing and whatnot?
Get me out of jail or whatever, so I can.
Yeah, yes, I told you I'd talk to her.
Elmer has displayed apprehension, confusion, and hesitancy. With some silver-tongued persuasion, the detective successfully convinces him to take part in the polygraph test. This has been a major stepping point in the interrogation, as it shows that even Elmer's doubts and suspicions can be extinguished with a down-to-earth delivery and a promise to help him get back in touch with his child. Now, it is up to Detective Karen Kowalczyk to see if she can extract the truth from him, depending on how the test goes.
Did you set any of those fires at the Everett Community College? Okay, that's the first question, right? And so you know what I'm talking about, Everett Community College, right? The college that's right up here. You talked before about you've been to the college multiple times, right? You've been to the college multiple times, but you weren't there when the fire was started, correct?
Yeah, I don't remember me even starting it or nothing. Being there.
Okay, so can you tell me what you do remember? Because I want to make sure we clarify that first, okay? And again, just because I want to make sure that you pass this test. I mean, that's what.
Yeah.
That's why you're here, right?
I don't even remember, but.
Okay, so see what you can remember. I mean, you remember being on the roof, right? You said.
I have thoughts of that. Yeah, I mean, I've had.
Okay. Be on the roof with a couple friends. You remember anything else beyond that? Because I want to make sure I cover everything that you possibly remember before we do the test.
I think they were trying to break in. I'm not sure.
You think you were what?
I think they were trying to break in or something. I'm not sure.
Okay, they were trying to break in. But how were they trying to break in?
See, that's what I don't know.
You don't remember?
Yeah. It's weird. I don't know.
Okay. So you remember being on the roof. You think they remember breaking in, you and a couple of these friends.
I don't even remember. I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Okay, but just tell me what you remember that's connected with this.
You know, on the roof, that was it. And then the fire being started, but I wasn't there when it happened.
Okay, so
there was a fire that got started or something. I don't know, but I don't remember.
Okay, and that's the question I'm going to ask you is regarding the fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so you do remember being on the roof with a couple guys that night, or you said 2 guys or 3 or couple guys. Were they about your same age or younger?
Yeah, probably around my age.
Probably around your age?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember if they're friends of yours or?
People that I know. It's not really friends.
Okay.
Acquaintances.
Okay, so acquaintance, people that you had you hung out with them before, or was that the first time you hung out with them?
I can't tell you how.
It wasn't the first time you met him that night?
Maybe not.
And maybe not. Okay. So you remember that being on the roof, and you remember something about breaking in.
I think the security came or something. I'm not sure.
The what?
I think I thought the security guard, people that work there, they were coming or something, and I took off and left. Because I didn't want to get in trouble for being there,
Oh, okay. So
I think the fire got started or something, but I wasn't there when it happened.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were on the roof with a couple other guys, and you think the security guard.
I think the other people that worked there or whatever, were coming, so I took off and left.
How did you know they were coming?
I heard them. I heard something.
You heard something, which you thought was the security guard, and so what was that before or after you guys were trying to break in?
That's before.
Before?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, while we're on the roof,
Yeah, that's what I mean. But how do you know that? How do you? Because you mentioned before you remember something about breaking in.
Yeah.
So I assume when you broke in, someone probably, I don't know, kicked a window in or something, or a door, whatever it might be. Was that the noise that they think the security officer heard?
No. See, that's.
What, you don't remember?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't remember none of this,
Could Elmer be trying to blame his companions for causing the fire? He could be trying to make it seem like he hesitantly went along with their plans, as if he was pressured into it. As the test continued, he was asked numerous blunt questions.
Did you set any of those fires at Everett Community College?
No.
And you would say no? Okay,
No.
because you didn't set any of the fires,
No.
and you weren't there with those guys that set the fire, right? Okay. And you know what I mean by that, right? Started the fires.
Yeah.
Whether it's 1 fire, 2 fire, half a fire, whatever it was, at Everett Community College. Okay, you never did that.
I didn't start the fire.
Okay, so you can answer that question. No,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so the second question I'm going to ask you is going to go like this. Similar, just a tiny bit different. Do you set any of those fires in Everett at the Everett Community College? Obviously, the Everett Community College is in Everett, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, and you didn't set those fires, right?
No.
Okay. And the third question I'm going to ask you, did you set any of those fires in 1987 at the Everett Community College?
No.
No, because that's when it happened, right? It was 1987?
Yeah. 87.
Huh?
87.
87. Okay. And you would answer
No.
no, right? Because you didn't set any of the fires.
No.
Okay. All right. Any questions?
You look worried. You look more worried than me.
Oh no, it's probably just my look. So any questions or concerns with any of those?
Following many more repeats of the same question, a breakthrough is eventually reached.
I'm going to say with you, I'm going to say it was totally not the way it was intended to happen. Whether you're starting a fire to get warm, whether you're starting a fire just to screw around, whatever it might be, right? I'm going to bet that's with you. I'm going to bet that you never meant for anybody to get hurt, and you never meant for it to go all crazy and go on fire like it did. I'm going to bet that, right? That was not your intention. Am I right? Okay. I think the only thing that happened that day was just a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. So I know what happened, but just tell me how it happened. Because now's your chance, right? Now's your chance to tell me what happened that day. Something happened, right? And whether it's you, maybe was it somebody else's idea?
Yeah.
Whose idea was it?
Mom, kids, I don't remember.
Which, you don't remember his name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did he say?
He was just lighting stuff on fire, being stupid.
He was letting stuff on fire and being stupid? So tell me about that.
And so I was saying, just being a kid, I guess.
He was just being a kid?
Yeah.
Okay.
Being stupid.
How?
I left though. I ran. So.
Okay, did you leave once you started him?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't know nothing happened after that. I just heard that.
Well, tell me what did he use to start him?
Lighter or matches or something. I think matches.
Was it matches or a lighter?
Sure.
Okay. And was it in the library, like they said? What room were you guys in? Well, tell me this, Elmer. How did you get into the library? Was it like these?
It was on top of the roof.
Okay.
That's why I remember saying that. But
okay, so you were on top of the roof, but then how did you get inside the library?
I don't know.
I know you remember.
I don't.
It's okay. I mean, how you got in there? Was it through a window? Do you remember through a window? I mean, if you think back to the call, did you have to bust through a window, or was it just you could open them? I imagine you had to bust through a window because I don't think they're open, right?
I can't remember.
But somehow you got into the library.
Yeah.
Okay. How many of there were you?
A couple people, I think. There's 3 of us, I think.
3 of you? Okay. And then once you got in the library, how did the whole thing start with the fire?
I don't even remember that. I just know that it was a fire that got started and I ran.
Okay, but it was somebody else's idea. Whose idea was it?
It's one of the other kids.
Okay, and you don't remember his name? Mm-hmm. Elmer, I think you do.
No.
You do. You know how I can tell when people know something or not. Here's the thing, like I said before. I know, but here's the thing. This is your chance to say what happened that day.
I don't want to say something that I don't know nothing about.
This is a big step in the investigation. He is finally admitting new details to the Detective Kowalczyk here, rather than exclusively sharing them with the detective from before. Yet he remains insistent that he did not start it himself. But how did his test go earlier exactly? Well, unfortunately for him, he's about to hear some bad news.
It was supposed to be something. Was it supposed to be a joke? Was it supposed to be?
I think he was being a bully.
But what do you mean by a bully?
Like, trying to show off.
Trying to show off in front of you? Oh, look what I can do? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then how do you do it?
I don't know.
Because here's the thing, but you do know, because you know how I know you? Because something like that.
I'm trying.
Yeah, I know, but I know you're trying to forget it, but at the same time, when we start talking about. Okay.
I'm not remembering because I just don't feel like I was ever there. You know what I mean?
Because you don't want to be there, but I'm going to place you back there because I know you remember everything that happened that day. Okay. I know you remember exactly what happened when you got on the roof and then when you got into the library. And you know how I know you do? Mm-hmm. Because you have a conscience. Right? Have a conscience. You do have a conscience. And people that have a conscience, they remember things long after it happened. They'll remember it like years. They'll remember it decades later because they've revisited it so many times in their head and said, gosh, I wish that didn't happen that day. I really wish it didn't happen. I know it didn't. It's kind of like, and I'm betting this too. Like when you said your mom's, I think it was your mom. I'm sure you remember every minute of that too, right? Because it was so, even though you were little and young, you remember it because it was so significant. It was such a huge life event for you. Just like this was a big life event for you too, right? You remember every part of it, every minute of it.
So how bad did I feel on the test?
You failed bad.
Bad?
Yeah. If there's such a thing as failing bad, but it wasn't close. Okay? Because you remember what happened. If you didn't remember what happened, you wouldn't have failed at all.
I don't.
I know. You do, but you just don't. I know you're feeling uncomfortable to talk about it, but I'm telling you this much, right? When you did a lot of good things today, right? So you came in, you took the polygraph. I know you came in, you talked to Mike, right? And you want to come in and take the polygraph, okay? Which is a huge step. And to me, I feel like you kind of want to set the record straight.
Elmer's catastrophic failure of the polygraph test seems that it's managed to break some of his defenses as he's about to reveal a new shred of information.
Okay, what was your intention?
Stay warm, I think.
Stay warm?
Yeah.
Was it to stay warm, or was it to show off, or was it a combination of both?
Be warm.
To get warm?
I mean, 12, when you're cold, and it's cold outside, so, he started firing, and we got out of patrol, and I ran.
Okay. All right.
And I took off, so he said, "They see me run, go by before the
How did you get out of the library when you ran out? Which way did you go?
I don't know how.
Did you go? You didn't go back up the roof, did you? No. Did you just run out the door?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about the other two kids that were with you?
I don't know. I ran.
And did they run different directions?
Probably. They had to. Because I ran past the theater before it started, and they said that somebody seen me before, afterwards, the fire had started.
Okay.
I don't remember that, but could have been with basketball out or something.
Okay. So you're on the roof, and you break in somehow, whether it's, I assume, somehow break through the window, right? No big deal. Who cares how you broke in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how did you get down from the roof down into the library?
Probably hanging from the roof, jumping.
Hanging from the roof and jumping?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you get down there. How long were you in there before you actually started the fire? Were you reading first, or not very long? Like 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
I really don't remember.
Not very long, meaning like you didn't sit down and read books while you're in the library, did you? Okay. Or watch TV or anything like that? Okay. And so then put some books together. And then I imagine, was it one person, or did everybody kind of help a little bit? Because if I was with my friends, I don't remember.
I wasn't trying to start a fire.
What were you trying to do?
I told him it was a stupid idea. If you shouldn't be doing that.
You told him a stupid idea and he shouldn't be doing it? And what did he say in response?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Pretty much, don't. It's gonna be alright.
All right. Anything in there to take?
Yeah.
Okay. Like what?
I went in there to steal some stuff. That was all.
What were you going to steal?
Just died.
Okay. Did you end up taking anything in there? Not that it matters, right? Is there anything to take in the library? I guess computers and stuff, right? What kind of computers did they have back then, 30 years ago?
I don't know.
Anything you could carry?
iMac or something.
Mac?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know if they had that then.
Yeah.
So your intention to go, was that the other two boys' intention too?
That was my intention, is to go in there and get something out of it. Steal something.
After more attempts at shifting the blame, another breakthrough in the investigation occurs. Now he's admitting that he intended to rob the place. But this investigator is not stopping here. Unlike the detective from before, she's going to amp up the pressure more and more until he finally cracks.
Well, who was there with you that day? I mean, I know he was, right? Who was the other kids that were with you? Okay, how about Jeff? Who's Jeff? Okay, what did you call them? I don't know what their names are. What did you call them? Just tell me what happened. All right? That's all. All right?
I'm telling you, I cannot remember.
Hey, you know what? I know you can remember.
I can't, bro. I'm trying, and I can't remember.
But here's the thing. It's like,
just because it's in, just because I passed the
Passed?
polygraph, I
you
failed.
felt it. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I remember anything. I don't remember. I'm being honest with you. I don't remember.
So, like I said before, you know how I know that you're not being honest with me? Because
I didn't think that I was going to fail this test.
all right, but you did. What?
It's impossible. It's utterly impossible.
What's impossible?
Yeah, I failed it.
How could it be impossible when you were there?
Because I don't remember being there.
Oh my gosh, Elmer.
I'm being honest. I don't remember being there. I cannot remember.
And now you're saying you don't remember. Okay, Elmer. So this. How would it look like right now that somebody watching this interview? Elmer, stop.
This is crazy. Man.
Stop. Okay. I know you remember, right? Because you told me already. You already told me what happened. Okay, you already told me what happened. Okay, and now I know what?
That's all I remember. I don't remember.
What's all you remember?
What I told you. I don't know who it was.
All you remember is what you told me?
Yeah.
But you told me earlier, you indicated to me that you don't want to tell me their names because you're worried that they're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Is that right? So you do remember their name? Huh?
It's been so long.
I know it's been so long. It's been so long, so they're not going to get in trouble. No one's, who knows what they're going to do with it after this, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys swore to secrecy for the rest of your life or what. Okay? Then you don't have to worry about it.
Fire got started and I left. I ran.
Huh?
A fire was starting and I left. I ran. I didn't start it. I
Okay.
didn't start the fire.
But you were there when it started. And so if you're there when it started, then you have some responsibility. And if you have some responsibility, then you have the responsibility of saying who actually lit the fire, or they're going to hold you responsible. Do you not understand that?
Hold me responsible.
Well, because you failed the polygraph for number one.
That's in this
Okay.
report. It's not.
Right. And we talked about that earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't want to get back off on this track. I'm just saying for you personally, this is your chance because the fact that you were there. Did you ever tell anybody that what happened?
Can I call my mom?
What?
Can I call my mom?
Yeah.
Elmer is tired, agitated, and is overheating in an uncomfortably warm room right now. His defensive have been utterly battered away. It's a perfect time for the detective to go over his story once again.
And I might have missed it, and I apologize. I'm not trying to drag you through it again. I've been through enough. But were you guys in there to do a burglary, or were you just
going in there to steal something? Yeah.
Okay?
Steal something.
And then,
No lying.
and then, was the fire started to cover evidence of that, or was it?
That could be. That makes sense.
So Troy Eastman was one of the names that I have, and the other one was Anthony Crane. So were those the two guys that were with you? So which one of the three, going for closure, which one of the three started the fire? You, Troy, or Anthony?
Troy.
Troy did? Do you remember how he started it?
Sliding up paper on fire. Just the books.
And were you guys near bookshelves, or were you near the
There's, library, so,
near bookshelves then? Okay. And Troy Eastman. That sounds familiar, right? And do you remember what he lit it with? And you mentioned a lighter or matches.
Lighter or matches, yeah.
You're not sure which.
Something, I told him that he shouldn't be doing that because, he just started a fire, so I just took off. I left out of there.
Okay.
And then after that, I just started up with the fire. The building started a fire. I heard that there was a big fire or whatever.
Where were you living at the time? Or you were
Projects.
You were? So not very far away, right? Do you remember where they were living at the time?
No.
Where'd you guys meet?
Only now.
And whose idea was it to break into the freaking library?
All ours.
And
we're just gonna go try to get some stuff out of there.
Finally, Elmer confesses what he and his friends intended to do on that day. 31 years of waiting has finally brought law enforcement up to this point, and the late firefighter Gary Parks can finally be avenged. Nevertheless, before wrapping up the interview, the detective has a few more hard-hitting questions to ask.
How did it make you feel holding on to that for so long? I'm asking, dude. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Detroit.
I felt bad, what that happened.
When did you learn that a firefighter died?
Just shortly after.
The next day or something?
So? 2 weeks, yeah. I can't understand why I passed the polygraph test again. Felt going there.
So this is why I said that you may have, in fact, in one of the reports I have around here somewhere, I think it was Anthony Crane, showed signs of deception on his polygraph test. I didn't see anywhere, and I asked Massengill, because he was the detective before me on this case, that if he remembered any recollection of you taking a polygraph test. He goes, no, because I wish I did. Ain't nobody here trying to jam you up, dude. We're all just trying to figure out what the hell happened. In fairness to everybody, in fairness to you too. I wouldn't want to carry that. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of freaking weight to be carrying, man. It's not good for you. Do you feel better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking feel like you lost like 600 pounds of, oh my God, dude.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah. I know it kind of dissipates with time, but you got to know something like that is going to keep being looked at, man. So, but I will keep my word to you, like I said I would. I ain't gonna change. You got anything else you want to add to anything?
I'm sorry that happened.
Elmer Nash pleaded guilty in court for one count of first-degree murder. Consequently, he was sentenced to 10 years in prison and community custody for the rest of his life.